Hello again, everyone. It's Vince, and this is our update for March 16th, 2026. Let's take a quick look at what ended up being a pretty decent start to the week here. We had the Dow finish higher by 355 points. Now, I mean, when you look at this overall, this doesn't really mean a whole lot. I mean, it's a nice little bounce, but we need something much more meaningful here. But hopefully the rest of the week will give us that. We've got the S&P 500 up 61, the Nasdaq up 258 here, and the Russell up 21. So they're all more or less around a key level right now. So it's sort of a wait and see here. It feels bearish, not going to lie, it does, but the charts don't give us a whole lot to worry about, at least not yet. When we look at crude oil, which has obviously been in the news for very good reason, it took a breather today, down 492 here. We are below 94, which is a bit of a welcome relief here, but I personally don't think we're in the clear just yet. But for now, we are down 4 points today. The gold futures down 40, silver down just 15 cents off its lows here. Bond yields continue to drop. The dollar dropped today. Reversal right at that key trend line. The VIX down to 2352. And we've got Bitcoin up almost 1,200 here, while Ethereum is up 151. Ethereum with a much cleaner break above these highs than Bitcoin. Bitcoin still just there. So what do we have on tap for the rest of the week? Well, the big news, which I don't even think is big news, comes on Wednesday, where we get the PPI, which will be interesting to watch, and then of course the Fed's decision on interest rates. Now, normally this would be something that we'd watch closely, but I think it's pretty much baked in that they're just going to hold steady once again. So it'll probably end up being nothing. But then again, after their decision, we do hear from the chairman, and maybe some of the comments could shake up these markets a bit. Later on in the week, we've got initial jobless claims and new home sales, but that usually doesn't do much. Earnings season continuing on here, just trickling. The last few trickling out here. This morning we had Dollar Tree out, which ended up with a decent move, up 690 or 6.5%. A real nice little bounce, but we don't see enough just yet to merit a long position, I don't think. Actually, when we look at the monthly, the one thing we could do is, stretch this line out where these series of highs are. Not only do we have 1, 2, 3 back here, but we've got another one right in here. So this is a key level. Now, we were above it for the latter part of last week. We dipped back below today or this week. Sorry, this is the monthly, the last 3 months. We've dipped back below this month, but we are off the lows. If we can get back above there, we could get something going. A few others that are setting up for earnings tomorrow are Oklo, Lululemon, DocuSign. Here, let's look at a few of those. Oklo, we did look at, I believe, during the session, and still doesn't look great, but is at risk of falling even further. So it's worth keeping an eye on. Lululemon is interesting here. Now, we are below this key level. If you look back, there's this area of consolidation, and we're right there. So we dipped just below it. We came back right to test these lows. So that's where we are now. So earnings is going to be important here. If they disappoint, we are likely to see more downside. And that's actually what we would prefer here. I mean, after breaking this key level here, we thought, excuse the error, we thought that there would be room for this to move down into the 60s down here. We're still just under 160. So lots of potential room for downside here. So if they disappoint, we could be in for a free fall here. So keep an eye on that. And lastly, DocuSign, which is due out tomorrow, similar. I mean, we are near the all-time lows here. Okay, much less expensive stock, just under 47, but that still has plenty of room to make money on the downside here. So this one will be very interesting as well. Aside from those, there's a few charts here I like. My favorite TS here, excuse me, Tenaris. And have a look at this. Nice and clean, nice little run. We had a gap up on earnings, and then we really didn't follow through much. We kind of started consolidating. And we've got some pretty clear highs and lows here to focus on. But what's interesting to me on this chart is the fact that while we didn't follow through strongly, when we pulled back, we actually did not even get, close this gap. So we held on to that. We pushed up again, pulled back, and made a higher low. Now, yes, you could say we have a lower high, so we're in a bit of a wedge here. We've got a nice long plus setup today. If we look at the weekly, I like it. I mean, it's pretty strong. And with everything happening in the markets the last few weeks, this one has just kind of held on here. Nice little flag pattern. And here it is on the monthly. And so if you follow this green line across here, this is the current price. And look at the amount of activity below that line compared to above. So we are already in the clear, I believe. And that's what gives me confidence in this one. So this is my favorite. We've got earnings 51 days away. I think we can break these highs and move on towards the all-time high, which comes in all the way up here near 75. It's still a $53, $54 stock. So that one looks really good. We've also got SanDisk. Now, obviously, this has been one of the leaders, but recently, kind of sideways. Now here we are today making a push, and we didn't quite take out the prior high, but we are right there. And so this obviously is one that looks really good as well. Earnings are 58 days away. There's the long plus here, but also can be treated as a breakout should we close above the February 3rd high of 725. It's just a much more expensive stock compared to TS, and that's why it's my favorite. The other two, NAT is one we spoke about in our chat. Raul brought this up. He's been trading this, and we got another long plus here today. Looks pretty good. If you look at the weekly and the monthly, I like the monthly. It is now above all of this consolidation going back to 2018, 2019. So that looks pretty good. There should be some more resistance in the 780 area, $8 area. We're still at 530. So there's potential there as well. And then Allstate, ALL. Now, with Allstate, it's a little different here. When I look at this chart, I just want to run away. So normally I wouldn't show you charts like this. This is about as ugly as it gets. Now, when we look at the weekly, we see a different perspective, don't we? Although it has been very, very ugly, look at the amount of the number of times, that it has tested this 210-ish level up here. I mean, over and over and over and over and over again, and it gets sold off every single time, right? But what is happening here to the lows? We've got shallowing lows here. We've got an ascending triangle happening here. If we can finally clear this level, right around 212, we can really start making a move to the upside. So this is one that I'm just adding to the watch list. So wanted to just use it as an example to show you, this in itself, I wouldn't blame you if you went running away from this chart. But when you see it hit a level over and over and over again, obviously there's a seller there. But once they're done, this can break through and off we go. So I think there's an opportunity in the making here. We're just not there yet. All right. So those are a few ideas there. And again, when we look at the overall markets, yeah, we've pulled back, no question. And we're very, very close at a tipping point, especially the S&P here, the Nasdaq, right? We're very, very close to these prior lows, where I think if we dip below that, we make another move to the downside. We go a little further. But, considering everything that's been going on, the markets have held up pretty well. So not ready to call this, an incoming crash just yet, but we are getting closer. So we'll keep an eye on that. And as always, keep an ear on the news. A lot can change. And one thing that you can count on is the volatility. So be careful, with your positions. Make sure you're managing them properly as always. But aside from that, we'll just keep taking this one day at a time. Remember that for me, when the index charts are, if they're not all aligned properly, or in this case, not green, we're not any long positions like TS today, for me, would be a half position, half size, right? Because we don't have the overall market supporting that move to the upside. So we're not in an area yet where, I think we should be shorting the market strongly. But at the same time, we shouldn't really be adding many new positions here either. There's always pockets of strength, good longs, good shorts, regardless of what you're running into. For me, at this point, it is an environment where we go in with half size only, just to be a little more cautious. So that's all. Just thought I'd remind you of that. Anyway, that is about it for now. Enjoy your evening, and we'll be back tomorrow night with an update and then another chat Wednesday morning. Take care, everyone.